The wall is at the top of Division Street, right where it curves upwards, away from the freeway and down into the neighborhood of Paradise Hills. It's kind of tucked away behind a big concrete phone pole across the street from a church. For decades, it was blank and a dusty gray. If you weren't from the neighborhood, you might have missed it. But today, the wall is bright and colorful.
The vegetables that we painted here are staples of the Ilocano diet.
Cars drive past as Ron Ricato points to the brand new mural that's there along the wall now.
You know, we got the squash, we got the ampalaya, we got the eggplant, the kamatis, calamansi. They're all fruits and vegetables that Filipinos use in their cooking.
Ricato is an artist who grew up in Paradise Hills. He spent weeks painting this mural with two friends. It shows traditional fruits and vegetables from the Philippines, like calamansi and ampalaya, and the crimson flag of the United Farm Workers Union, an homage to the farm workers' strikes of the 1960s. At the center is a saying in Tagalog, isang bagsak.
Isang bagsak, which literally translates to one down, meaning if one of us is down, that means that we're all down. And if one of us is up, that means all of us are up, representing a real communal spirit.
It's the first time that there's been a mural here in 30 years. Back in the 90s, though, Ricato says he and his friends used to paint this wall all the time. They were going to high school just down the street.
The neighborhood was different. It was crazier. It was a little bit crazier, like, there was, the upstart of, like, gangs and drugs.
Paradise Hills was a red line neighborhood, a black and brown community that was systematically disinvested in. It was home to a big Filipino community, which Ricato and his friends were part of. Ricato says their immigrant parents weren't thinking about enrolling them in soccer or other activities. Instead, he and his friends turned to art.
The New York-style subway graffiti, it was all brand new. So being a kid and seeing that, it was fresh, It was fresh. And it was like, oh, man, like, I want to do that.
Ricato and his friends started looking for spots to paint. In Paradise Hills, there were only a few. There were some places towards Spring Valley. There was the side of the old Circle K liquor store. And then there was the wall at the top of Division Street.
This wall was like kind of at the center of everything.
Ramali Liquidon. He's like a cousin to Ricato.
Like, this is like one of the main streets off of the main freeways and to get into Paradise Hills, you have to kind of go down this street to get into the neighborhood of Paradise Hills. So everybody was coming in and out of this like passageway right here and seeing this wall every day that they would go to work, go to school and all that.
They gave themselves a crew name, JVC. Almost every month, they would put up a new mural on Division Street. They painted cartoon characters, messages, and portraits of friends who had passed away. When rival crews didn't approve, they would come and paint over their work.
This was almost like our social media back in the days.
Junior Inocencio was the third member of their crew. He says their work was starting to get attention in the neighborhood.
We were able to broadcast our post, but through artwork to the community. And a lot of the fellow writers out there at the time, they would take notice.
But others were taking notice too, including the cops. In 1993, they launched a major sting operation targeting graffiti artists across San Diego County. Officers posed as Hollywood producers working on a documentary. Eventually, they arrested 37 people, including Inocencio, who had just graduated from high school. Ricato and Liquidon tried to keep painting after that, but soon they graduated too. Liquidon went to art school in Valencia and San Francisco. Inocencio had to go to court and do community service, and eventually became an art teacher. And back on Division Street, the wall was empty. Ricato went to college in Long Beach and joined the Navy. Even on duty, he kept drawing, making sketches on printer paper and scanning them onto a computer whenever he got the chance. Finally, after decades away from home, he got orders back to San Diego.
Of course, I'm hitting up the old crew, and we're talking about the glory days or just catching up, and we're still, all of us still are, it's still a part of us. So we all are artists in certain ways, and we're talking about like that we should one day come back to this.
This, the wall on Division Street. Last year, Ricato, Liquidon, and Inocencio got together with some old friends and began planning something new. In early October, the three of them started painting. Now, there's a new mural on Division Street, but it's different from the scenes they used to paint. This mural is focused on honoring the history of Filipino culture and the neighborhood.
We came out here, but this time we're growing up, more mature, so we wanted to reflect that, like, what would be a good message to share with the community.
Ricato says they didn't sign it. They wanted the focus to be on the message, not on themselves. But in the bottom right corner, they did stencil the letters of their old crew, JVC. Can I ask, does that stand for something?
Well, JVC, we're back in the day when we were younger, it was the Juvenile Vandal Crew, right? I don't know what it stands for now.
A lot has changed since the 90s. The crew, the neighborhood. But some things are still the same, like an old brick wall, like a group of childhood friends, still trying to make the neighborhood a little more beautiful. Kori Suzuki, KPBS News.